Now recognize Ranking Member Bush for 5 minutes of questions.
Thank you, and thank you to our witnesses for being here. Despite House Republicans' claims to the contrary, we understand that the United States is currently the world's largest oil and natural gas producer. The U.S. is also an enormous consumer. These embarrassing facts drive energy insecurity in this country, and it's important to understand how dangerous our reliance on fossil fuels, how that affects regular people. In St. Louis, in my community, we experience energy insecurity in a myriad of ways. For me, when I was a young single mom of 2, I became aware of the vast disparity in energy security. My electricity and heating bills were at times $1,800 a month for just one of them, which was double my rent. These high bills made my family struggle. When we want to talk about understanding economic justice or environmental justice, let's talk to people who actually experience it and have, which some of those folks are sitting up here. A high utility bill meant I had to choose between paying off my electric bill or buying food for my babies. One winter, while my kids were still babies, when the utility bill was so high, the company shut off our heat and wouldn't make a payment plan, and we went the entire winter without heat. And because I connected my home to heaters, we almost burned the house down. I will never forget that cold. I will never forget that energy insecurity, but thank goodness my kids will never remember. Last year, St. Louis experienced 2 1-in-1,000-year flooding events within 3 days. Our community was devastated, and we are still rebuilding homes and infrastructure. The event was made far more likely and severe by the burning of fossil fuels that is driving this climate crisis. In St. Louis, we know a lot about energy insecurity. We have seen power outages and electric wires underwater, as we've seen in other places. We've gotten asthma from dirty energy, which I have. We have become unhoused due to high energy bills, which I have. So Dr. Paul, which is more affordable? Let me ask you. Solar energy, oil, or gas?
According to recent data, renewables are substantially cheaper than new fossil fuels. So to give you some numbers here, utility scale solar is 1/3 cheaper than new natural gas here in the United States, and offshore wind is roughly 40% cheaper. To boot, solar on average, utility scale solar goes only 1% over budget on average. Wind goes over 4% over budget. Fossil fuel projects, on the other hand, go on average 33% or more over budget. So renewables are substantially cheaper.
Thank you. So what is more likely, Dr. Paul, to give my children asthma? A gas facility or a wind turbine?
Unfortunately, there's strong evidence to suggest that fossil fuels are directly linked to asthma in the United States. Households, for instance, with gas stoves in their houses experience far higher rates of asthma for their children, double-digit higher. Wind turbines, on the other hand, are not associated with asthma or other public health concerns.
Thank you. Dr. Paul, which is more likely to fluctuate? Solar energy in a country where the sun rises every day, or limited fossil fuel resources that are subject to global spikes from wars and pandemics?
There's strong evidence to suggest that prices driven by a clean and renewable grid will be substantially more stable and will help de-link the United States economy from international conflicts, those that drive repeated price spikes for fossil fuels. So both this most recent event with Russia as well as the 1978-79 crisis, which that inflationary crisis was also driven by political instability this time in the Middle East.
Thank you. Finally, I want to talk about the scale of our need. To achieve energy security, we know we not only must never develop new fossil fuel infrastructure again, but we also must invest in public renewable energy. So lastly, Dr. Paul, what scale of further public investments are needed to deliver energy security and stem the climate crisis?
If we actually want to decarbonize the country as we've promised to do by rejoining the Paris Climate Agreement, then we need to invest substantially more in deep decarbonization efforts. The Inflation Reduction Act is a key down payment, but it's just that, a down payment. We need hundreds of billions of dollars more in public investments to direct the economy towards decarbonization and improve the health and affordability of our national economy.
Thank you, and I yield back.
Thank you. The chair recognizes Congresswoman Boebert for her questions.
Thank you, Mr.